Hello. Now it's kind of last minute and quick. So I my way home I got like a freaking migraine. So I took a nap and it ended up being a really long one. So but I wanted to give everyone a update on the hearing today. Hopefully Randy or share if anyone wants to hop on. Um, Let me put the link in there for you guys. There you go. So today was the big day. The judge accepted his plea by agreement of guilty. He chose to, when we were in court was it last month? Yeah, last month, his lawyer told us that he was going to he had something to say, but of course, typical, he didn't say anything today. So um his lawyer said he decided not to, with much going back and forth, he decided not to say anything because there aren't really any words, which I think is kind of a cop out, but typical of someone with his character. He was unfazed by the whole thing, just his typical cold eyes, smirk. No one was there for him. There was not a soul there for him at all, and there was no media there. There was just me and Randy and Miss Cheryl, Nicole's mother, and Cher, Miss Dottie. And I didn't ask if she wanted me to say her name, but Ray's niece. So it was really awesome to finally get to meet her in person too. And yeah, so it was a small crowd. Again, like these aren't without small YouTube channels. There would be no one would know anything. It's kind of sad, and it's pretty typical. Most cases don't make the media. They don't make a blip even in an article. So I do feel like being there and telling you guys about it is important. It's important for Ray. It's important for his family. I mean, in my opinion, a plea, especially with the charge of murder, is the best way to go because he can't appeal, and he they won't have to go through all of that. He's just going to be there. He's got 55 years for Nicole, and then which is going to run consecutively. So he'll serve his first 55 years, which now I need to find out what if he was given a restriction on that. Oh gosh, listen, my computer's about to die, so I gotta go get my charger before that happens because then we'll be really messed up. So I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Sorry, my dad called too, but yeah, it's quite the miracle that this freaking computer still works, to be honest. We bought it for my daughter. I think it was her freshman or sophomore year of high school, and she is got like 2 months left of college. So it's pretty freaking old, but it will not hold a charge for nothing. So that's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm back. Let's say hi to some people. Who's your cold cases? What's up, dude? Carol, Rabbit. Cher, good to see you here. Blake, Wombat. Good to see you. Miss you, dude. Hey, Sharon. Always good to see you. GP, hello. There's a link up above. I don't know how to pin it on here, but if Cher, Ginger, or Randy, or any of you guys want to pop on, feel free. This account, hello, dear. Did I say hi to Carol? Carol and Cindy Lynn are my favorite commenters. They always leave me such great comments on my videos. You're much appreciated. Okay, so I think I pulled this up on here. Why isn't it? Oh, there. Okay. Where did I leave off? Oh, I want to find out about, so the judge brought this up about, is he a credit restricted felon? And he said that in Ray's case, I don't want to say that he definitively said, because I don't remember, but he said that in a sexual related crime, such as Ray's, was basically what he said. Usually there's a credit restriction to where he can't earn, he can't do programs and that kind of stuff. And he doesn't qualify for a reduced sentence based on that kind of stuff. And so then he asks the lawyers, and for some reason that I don't understand at all, the prosecutor was like, well, I don't think he qualifies for that. So he's like, I'm not sure, like you didn't really know. And I'm like, whatever, like, why not? But the prosecutor Delgado did say that he thought that he would qualify for 75% of his sentence, which, he's got 110 years he's looking at. He has 0 credits towards this one. So even if he does, which the judge ordered that he attend something called RWI. It must be some kind of drug treatment program. So there's that. Yes, we sure were. We were here. Who's your man? Like literally before we even knew who killed Nicole Bowen, really. And then it just kind of went from there. But yeah, Wombat was there, Lake. Oh yeah, we had a good little group. Crimezilla, Ivy Rose. Okay, so back up. I don't know what RWI stands for, but it was basically a part because Cody Spears is his lawyer, and he basically spoke on his behalf with the lame part about, no words can really make a difference. So there was the victim impact statements were first, and his niece gave one, and she was pretty short and sweet and to the point. There is a witness box, but apparently Judge Thompson said that because Miss Dottie asked to sit up there so that she could make him look at her. He was like, oh, that's not really typical. So Miss Prentice, she sat next to Prosecutor Delgado to give her witness impact statement to Garett. He didn't look at her. He just kind of, you know, I don't know if it's like a permanent like palsy he has in his face, but it just looks like he's smirking and disinterested. But the one thing I took away was like what she ended with, and she was like, I hope that every day for the rest of your miserable life, I hope every day of the rest of your miserable life treats you awful. She said that like Ray was her best friend, and he was loved. And I thought that was, you know, that was a how she felt, you know, and rightfully so. You know, and then Miss Dottie, and she, like I said, she'd asked the judge if she could sit up there to make him look at her. So when that was denied, she's sitting there giving her witness or her victim impact statement, and he didn't look at her until she made him. And just some things that she said is that he was valuable to us. You treated him like, you know, just total disregard for him basically, but he was valuable to us. He was loved. He was valuable to his community. He gave back. He was loving and kind and good, and you took him away. And then she did something that I thought was really, I mean, she said, Garett, you know, look at me, please. And he did. He looked at her, and then she said, you did an injustice to us and also to your mother. You've done an injustice to your family as well, that have to live the rest of their lives with you behind bars. And I thought that was the only time I could see just like a glimmer of a reaction, you know, and it was more of just like, because we're just seeing him from the side, right? You know, they're looking at each other, and just a glimmer of like a blink, you know, basically like, well, yeah. And I thought that was very, it's very true, you know, like, blaming substance, and he, you know, just all of the things of like, at the end of the day, your mom no longer has her son. And in his interrogation videos, you know, he's asking like, can I call my mom? Like, it's been how many days? Like, I need to call my family. Like that, I talk to them all the time. And, you know, but at the end of the day, like, because no one was there. No one was there for him. You know, that's what's tough, is like the decisions you make in your life. Like, who's going to be there at the end? Like, who have you impacted in your life that, ride or die? Like, I know as a mother, I'm going to be there, you know, but I understand the choice to not attend. You know, the pressure of the victim's family alone has got to be immense for the families of the murderers. And then we move on to, the judge was like, asked Delgado about in the agreement plea of like, if he is required to pay the court costs, which are a total of $185.50. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he's never getting out basically. So like, I don't see the point. And the judge was like, well, with, you know, networks like Netflix and all the other ones, I'm going to put that in there as a judgment, to where if he goes on Netflix or some other kind of like crime documentary, he will be required to pay the $185.50. Of course, like, I think that's wise with that, because what can happen is they can earn money off of the being contacted, and these networks paying them. And so I feel like it should have been a judgment towards not only for the court costs and the attorney fees, but also for the family. Like why is that not commonplace to where these inmates can't earn money off of networks and TV and doing interviews? It should just be kind of the standard rule. But so then it came to closing arguments, and that is about the aggravating and mitigating circumstances. Obviously, that's all been outlined in the plea already, but they were able to argue those. Cody Spear, his defense attorney, went first, and he talked about his substance abuse, and he, because of the substance abuse, that gave him a Jekyll and Hyde, like I'm quoting him, personality, and that Mr. Spears has been able to see, like, he said, again, I'm going to quote this, has a well-rounded mind, not on drugs, but he has struggled with substance abuse in and out of prison. So that's a problem they need to fix. He said that he's also, besides the substance abuse, he's a product of the company that he kept, and childhood trauma from his childhood, which he did not go into any detail on any of those three mitigating factors that he said. He said he had a really rough upbringing. And no time is enough, but the time agreed upon that they asked, like, as far as like for the judge to accept the 55 years. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, no matter like what the prosecuting attorney, DA, and the defense attorneys work out for their client or for the state, for Ray, for his family, for Garett, it's the judges got the ultimate say so. They usually accept, but not always. So I'm just like, yeah, no, that's not enough. Like, you go back to the drawing board, or we're going to trial. I've seen both happen, in person and in Justia. So the court, that's why he asked, the court to accept the plea. And he said, as to my client deciding not to speak, we went back and forth, and much discussion was made about that. And they decided that no amount of words could say, so he had a change of heart as far as speaking. And that's the thing with, like, how long, like Hoosier Cold Case I said earlier, like how long a major group of us, let alone the family, has been following this case. Like, we'll never know any. That is one thing with not going to a jury trial. It's a double-edged sword of, like, motive does not have to be proven in the court of law, in the justice system, but it's usually is if there's a jury trial, because that's just a common, like, why did you do this? And so it's something that, even though prosecutors don't have, it's not a part of, like, the conditions of a guilty verdict. It is something that you do see when a case goes to jury trial. They focus on that because it's important to everyone involved. Like, why did you do this? And they'll never know, like, the ins and outs, the connections between other people, the party that went on, the any of that. Then again, on the other side of that, with just seeing other, because now we, thanks to the WWW, we can watch live jury trials. And while us as the audience doesn't see, and sometimes not even if you're there in person, like in Nicole's murder trial with Ashley Garth, a lot of the like autopsy crime scene photos, there was some that, like, some things we saw, but some things just the jury sees. So, but you do get to hear a lot more of the details. You get to hear from the key players to explain how they came to this, but it can also be very heart-wrenching for the families to have to sit through that and to hear the in-depth details of how their child, their loved one, their friend died. So it's definitely a double-edged sword on that. So that was he didn't really list any aggravating, obviously, because he's his defense attorney, but Prosecutor Delgado, he said that, a mitigating was obviously, like, he did take a plea. He pled to, he said, I'm guilty of this. I did this. And, and that is a mitigating factor when they were coming up with the 55 years. And aggravating would be his juvenile, like, he thought he said an age, but very young age, like juvenile, like when he was a minor when he started committing his criminal offenses started happening, and then and as an adult, and the fact that he's murdered Nicole Bowen were obviously aggravating factors. He did say that, like, while his juvenile and adult record were the lowest level, like level 6 felonies in Indiana is like the lowest level felony, and like misdemeanors and stuff, like he definitely has a constant theme in his life of criminal behavior. So that was like an aggravating. He did feel like the advisory sentence it was appropriate, and then Cody Spear wanted to say one more thing that he had forgotten to add on. So he wanted to say that with his pervasive substance abuse problem, he would like the judge to consider recommending him for RWI. If anyone in the chat knows what that stands for, no, for pit bulls, no, he wasn't, unless he's like a part of the sheriff's department. There was no one there for him, not one person. It was literally the only people in the courtroom, the judge, the stenographer, I think that's what they're called, obviously the attorneys, the transport team, and the sheriff of White County, and us. There was me, Randy Garett, and Miss Dottie, Cher, and Ray's niece, and that was it. So with that, he was like, whatever RWI, if anyone knows what that actually stands for. Like I said, I came home with a major migraine, so I'm still kind of like recovering from that, but I didn't get a chance to look up what RWI stands for, and they didn't say it in CART. So because of it, but they want him to be in this program because of his drug abuse prior to and during incarceration, basically to work on his sobriety and his like life in general, like, so counseling never. And that's when the judge, after that, that's when the judge asked if he should be, there should be a judgment in there as far as if he is a credit restricted felon, which means that he can't, like, it's 55, like you're serving 100% of your sentence. And then he asked the prosecutor, and he was like, and Cody Spears, and they were like, I don't know why he didn't, just like, because he was saying is like, this case, from reading the PSI, reading the details of the case, it was a sex related crime. So apparently in Indiana, which I'll have to do some more research on that, when it is a sex related crime, so a murder, kidnapping, murder, but it is sexually motivated. So an aspect of what he did to Ray in the judge's eyes qualified for that restriction. But then Delgado and the obviously Cody Spears is going to be like, yeah, like he should be able to get, not be credit restricted. But it just seemed like Delgado and they didn't know. And then the judge was just like, okay, I mean, I guess. And then so he's not. He said but the judge said, well, there was a sex crime committed, therefore he is not eligible. And then he asked them their opinion on it, and Delgado said he's not convinced that he is not eligible for that. So then the judge didn't make that a part of the judgment. So that means that doing programs and stuff, he will get a credit. Doesn't mean he's going to get out before, if he lives like 110. Sorry. But the thing that you got to think about is like, and Delgado had said, I think he would qualify for a 75% sentence. So taking off, instead of 100 to be 75%, which is a class B credit. So if that's, what did Judge Moulter decide with him for Nicole's case? Does he have, I would assume that it's the same 75%. And the math on that, I can't even, where's Ivy Rose? Like she's only like, or someone else can do the math on that. So 55 years at 75%, and then 55 years at 75%. I don't believe you can do the 110, 75%. I don't think the math would math on that. But still, I mean, he went in at 21. So I don't think, even with as many programs as he could possibly take, he would be able to get out before he's what, like, I gotta add up. Yeah, like, I mean, at best, maybe like 90 years old. Oh, recovery while incarcerated. Thank you, Kentucky Sleuth Angel. That makes sense. And how are you? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think that's all I have. Oh, his juvenile record started at 13. That was his first interaction with the courts system and law enforcement. He has a violent nature. I don't know why these notes are not, I don't know. I'm terrible at taking notes and I can't read them. So I tried to I've been trying to learn shorthand for dyslexics for court, so that I can, understand what I've written better. But now I'm having trouble, reading my shorthand. So I don't know, but I don't know why. It's just super, but the notes are based on how things progressed in when I was hearing them. So I would organize it a little bit better, but it is like how everything progressed as far as we were there. So it keeps going back and forth because that's how it went today. And so this is the judge's final order. This is what he had to say to the parties. And he said, the aggravators were that he's got a criminal record that dates back to age 13. And then in his adulthood, he committed murder. And then he has a violent nature from all the way back. And then the mitigating for the judge was that he did plead guilty to what he did. So his judgment was that he accepts the plea of 55 years. There's 0 days suspended or on probation because he's serving a sentence. So all of the time that he was in Newton County and White County jail for this case, none of those days are towards his sentence for Ray, because he said that it is because he is already serving the sentence for Nicole, and this one is served consecutive to that, which means not concurrent, means you can serve like Ashley Garth. Like her sentence is 48 years, 20 years, and 6 years, something like that, for each charge that the jury found her guilty of. But in sentencing, she can serve the 20 and the 6. I believe that's what it was for the other 2 that she was charged with concurrently. So basically the 48 years. Like, I don't know why they even bother, but he did dismiss the charge of auto theft and theft. So those charges were just dismissed. And he was not going to do the age or the credit restriction, basically upon the attorney's request, and then that he has a judgment against him for $185.50. So, and then dismissing the 2 charges, auto theft and theft. And that's pretty much it. That's hey Randy, how are you? I'll drop that link one more time in case anyone wants to pop on for a few minutes. Again, I'm not going to stay on too long because I don't know. I haven't had issues. Both my kids have had issues with migraines, but I really haven't. But here in the last like couple years, man, I've been, especially this last 6 months, I've been getting them really bad. And I literally, like, I need a different app. Like, I don't know, my Google Maps lady, like, it's hit or miss. You know, she's either telling me to turn right like 5 times for like a simple turn right at a light, or she is not giving me any directions at all. So I have no idea why it took me an hour. Well, it said an hour and 33 minutes, but I think I actually got there in like an hour and 28 minutes. But on the way home, it took me an hour and like 40 minutes for no reason. I don't know. It didn't give me any direction. I literally I can't follow directions anyway. So I literally need it to be like, turn right now, like turn right out of this parking lot. And it didn't. So obviously I turned the wrong way, and it was like rerouting. And I'm like, oh, well, this is probably not, just avoid going back through, middle of town. That's what it seemed like to me. And then the next thing I know, like, I turned the wrong way on 421 because she didn't give me any directions. Did a turnaround, and I'm thinking, like, it's going to take me to 65. No, she didn't. She took me through the country, like literally, I think it was like 900. Took 900 all the way to 52. So I have no idea why all of that happened. It was super frustrating, and it gave me a headache, and the sun was in my eyes. So I'm like totally struggling right now. Yeah, so pop on, give your account of today if you want to, Randy. Don't feel like you have to. Like, I've been asleep since I got home, so I haven't looked at anything. I don't even know if Randy went live yet. I'm assuming you probably did. I know that everyone's busy with things that I don't know. The big CW thing is out today, apparently, and that's all anyone wants to talk about. So whatever on that. It's frustrating, because where we can really make a difference is not cases that are high profile, that are literally they're in the major media on a weekly basis, but where we can be helpful. Like today, Randy and I were the only one there to tell anyone about what happened, to take pictures of the orange jumpsuit and Garett Kirts, and like in the family, and be there for them. Like that's where we can actually be useful. But it's just frustrating that you in the crime community, and there's definitely like categories of true crime, and morally I can live with where I'm at, but some of the other genres, they're just not for me, and I know they're not for a lot of other people. I did watch a documentary this week. It's new out. It's called Cyber, was it called Cyber Sleuths? It was pretty short, but old JLR made the cut, but it also kind of exposed the negative sides. Bullhorn Betty was on there, and like all of these certain channels. So I'm interested to see if the CW one is comparable to those at all. But it was really kind of like the mitigating and aggravating factors of internet sleuthing, and the definitions of media and journalism versus YouTube and podcasts. And there's obviously some of the mitigators would be like you're not held to a standard, but that's also a aggravator, and like where do you draw the line, and like how much false information gets out there, and the impact that it's having on cases right now, like literally right now, let alone in the future, if there's not some kind of regulations put on it. Families are suing YouTubers. And I mean, as it stands right now, like I don't make any money off of this. Like I go into debt over this most every month, like sometimes I make a profit that pays off the subscriptions and the cost and the travel and all of that. But most of the time, no. So if like someone sued me, that's it, like life ruined, but so I don't know for some of the bigger channels, but what's her name? Yaz, something like that. Like the Andrecchio family won a lawsuit against her. There's been some other ones, but just for defamation, and just if you think that you're going to be on YouTube and you have this immunity because you're not a real journalist or a real media, like you don't have like a college degree in that, and you're not working for a network, you're sadly mistaken. And there has been a lot of precedence type cases in the last couple years. And so putting out false information and inflammatory statements that are untrue, like we see a lot with the Delphi case of people doing, true crime design, Anthony Grino, like a lot of, there's a lot though, and don't fix it. You can't be sued, and if you lose that lawsuit, like you're done for. I mean, they won a lawsuit against her for like $500,000. So I think what we're going to see in the next decade is a lot of changes, hopefully positive ones, in the true crime community as far as sleuthing goes. But let's see some comments. Oh, you're welcome, Kentucky Sleuth. Oh, you didn't, Randy? Okay. Peppermint oil for the headache? Yeah, I think I actually have some of that. Hi, Pigs Fly. How are you? Um, yeah, so it's done right now for um Ray. And unfortunately with Nicole Bowen, we still got this case gullible going on about we are going to figure out a way to let Garett Kirts know who he's talking to, so maybe he'll shut up. Um, but I will say things like that, like there are regulations on things like that as far as recording in a courtroom. Absolutely not allowed. They took our phones today. We had to give them to um, some lady. We had to put them in a box and we could get them afterwards. That's a first. Usually you are required to turn them off and show, like at Newton County, you go through the first, like it's not checkpoint, but like you go through the metal detector, and then at Carroll County there's two of those set up, so you go through the first one, and then when you get to the actual closer to the courtroom, on the floor that the courtrooms are, you go through another one, and it's a little bit more rigorous, and like they like make sure your phone's not on. But White County doesn't have that, so once you're in the building, like there isn't really anything. So I don't know if it's maybe because of that. But yeah, they took our cell phones, and Randy was like, "Oh gosh, can you imagine if Judge Gold did that?" I'm like, "Oh Lord, we'd have a bunch of people up in a riot over it." But at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal, and you're not allowed to record anyway. You're not allowed to record conversations with inmates. You're not allowed to do any of that stuff. You're not allowed to record and show Zooms without the proper going through the proper channels and being accredited to do so. Just different things like that. So, hey, Justice Serve Daily, how are you? I hope you're well. Yeah. Well, thank you, Wombat. It's good to see you in the chat. Makes my heart happy. Um, so yeah, we still gotta, I think one appeal has already been exhausted for Ashley Garth. The post-conviction relief, as it stands right now, is still, it's been put on hold. So we'll have to just see what shakes down from that. And, it's always a crapshoot. And it's like, good Lord, there's so many loopholes. And like, no matter, it's just like got to be the hardest job ever, because the prosecutor is not only depending on himself doing his job, he's depending on everyone else in the investigation doing their jobs, and like all of the I's and all of the T's like crossed. Did I say that right? Dot your I's and cross your T's. Yeah, something like that. But and there any little thing can cause a retrial in the appeal process. It's just so crazy. But I do know that in the state of Indiana, when a jury finds someone guilty, it's pretty difficult to get that reversed. So, but we shall see. And if she gets a retrial, guess who will all be there? We will. I personally don't feel like that's going to happen. And I feel like that's not going to happen based on the fact that she was found guilty by a jury, for one, and minus some little detail or false information put out. Like at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the Supreme Court, and some of those things are like, yeah, this could have been done a different way, but we don't think that would if this wasn't talked about, or if this was talked about, is that enough for a jury of her peers for there to be a different verdict in the case? And unless it's like gross, like negligence, if it's like, a real failure of the system. So I'm not too worried about it. But again, if it does happen, that's why I'm not releasing the pictures I got from the neighbor, because they were not used in the first trial because, well, I don't know why they want them used because it shows a different little scene outside the next morning after they had murdered her. It's not anything that they're actually going to want, but it will help if there is a retrial, what's in those photos. So, that's why I'm not doing some of those things, because guess what? Like, I don't want to get in the way of anything. And I would be heartbroken if like something I said or did actually did affect the outcome of a trial, or actually really upset a family, or that was a inflammatory false statement that I made. It wouldn't be intentionally, but like that would be heart-wrenching to have that weight on you, that like a family didn't get justice because of something you did, or maybe the jury would have saw it a different way if you hadn't have done that. Like that would be heart-wrenching. So we have to be responsible. We have to be careful. Yeah. I'm not familiar with the case. I did see but I haven't followed literally anything since the last time I was on here. And I still have, I don't even know how many in my big year end, catching up, like any updates on all of the stuff that I've covered on my channel. I probably have like 4 more episodes to go on that, a look back. And yeah, I just haven't been doing it. We've been redoing, starting on this one. You can't see it, but right next to me is like a tote full of paint and my roller drawers with all of my supplies, and another tote full of like stuff to redo this room. So the next few times I go live, it's probably going to be because I'm going to actually like drywall these walls in here. And I like to do the work myself. And then we're getting carpet. So I want to get it painted before the carpet. So the other room is now finished, awaiting the carpet. And then this room we have to go. And somehow, some way, like this one more thing, I don't even know how to set this up or this is not going to be a me product. This is going to be like us as a channel, donating. How do you do like because it has to be like, we're not going to say who it is, but there's someone that is, what can I say? Someone that needs our help really bad. But it's tricky because of who else is involved with this person and the backlash of that. But I'm trying to figure out a way to, because I don't have the extra cash flow right now to donate anything. But as a channel, and I'm donating goods like furniture, decorations, and things like that. I have that to donate because I'm doing this big project. But we're working on it, and I know it sounds so big. And I know that if we could say the name of this person, we could raise some major money to help them out. But I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to do that. That would be a decision that is not up to me, and I'm not going to be involved in the actual taking of money. But man, I wish we could, because it is so sad. It's so awful what's happening. It's so, I wish I could just say it. I wish I could just say it, but I can't. So, be checking my community post for a link or a way that you could contact me privately if you're willing to donate anything. We're going to try to work on something to like figure that out, because again, the few of us that know about it, we can give, but we can't give enough to even make a dent. But everyone together, we can, to really make a difference in someone's life that's at a precipice of like, they haven't done anything to deserve the plight. They haven't done nothing to deserve where they unfortunately are in their life right now. And it's like that, like, if they could just have something to get them going, and get them going in a direction that like college would be an opportunity, and like housing and things like that, like we can really make a difference. So keep it in mind. I know I'm super vague, but you can hit me up in Messenger, and we will try to get something going. Again, it's probably gonna be like how when someone has like a silent prayer request. So if you have the means and would like to, I guarantee you won't regret it, especially if it can change things for this person. All right, guys. Well, I am going to go ahead and jump off of here. Okay, thank you, Kentucky Sleuth Angel. I will. There's a few people that like know the situation, and they're the ones that are going to be in charge of this. Longtime supporters and friends of mine, and members of our channel here. So we'll get to the bottom of what we can do to help this person. But I gotta go. I'm gonna go and probably go back to bed because my head is still hurting. My eyes feel like they're shooting out daggers, like in this light over here. Whew, too much. All right, Lake, good night. Thank you all for stopping by. Again, great day for Ray, for a great person. Don't ever forget, be careful as to not leave permanent scars on other people's hearts. Love you, Cher. Thank you for being here. Miss Dottie, love you. Jen, Cheryl, Roxy, niece, and all of the other friends and family of Ray. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your willingness to be a voice for Ray. It's been a while, but it's not lost on me that you guys trusted me with your stories, your real-time account, your best friend, your lover, your son, your brother, your nephew, your uncle. Such an honor to have all of you guys be a part of the podcast for Ray. And this live, I've created a playlist that's called The Unpleasant Truth. It's dedicated to Ray and Nicole. And if you want to hear from Ray's family, click on that playlist and find the episodes. They're on YouTube now, but I did them on Spreaker and all the other, they're still on. You can still find me. I don't pay for the subscription anymore, but they are still available on Apple. Like literally all of the podcast apps, you can find the series I did for Shannon Polk and Nicole and Ray before I transitioned over to YouTube. And that's who I'm talking about, that they were willing to be vulnerable to hopefully get people to hear about Nicole and Ray. And I am honored to have been here with them since 2019, and helping them and giving them answers sometimes, or finding answers for them along the way, and being there to support them. And thank you, Miss Dottie, for lunch today. For all of us. That was very sweet of you. That was very kind, and it was delicious. I'd have to ask them what the name of it. I think it had harvest in it. So if you're ever in Monticello, right down the road from the White County Courthouse, it is something harvest time. I think it's by the McDonald's. Delicious. And it was kind of cute. We all went there after the hearing this morning, and me and Cheryl and Randy were there first. And when Miss Dottie came in, Cheryl's waving, and then like all this whole table, this big old group of a table, they start waving and hooping and hollering. And Miss Dottie got to, like tell this restaurant of just like probably locals that they go there every day. We have one here in Brownsburg, and she got to tell them about what happened today, and like sing Delgado's praises. So that was kind of cool. Love those small town. That's the thing you do get in more rural communities, is that sense of like familiarity, even if you're perfect strangers, just that cordiality, that rural community hospitality. And so it was a nice touch to the day for Cheryl picking that particular restaurant, just the people that were in there, and just that feel of like community. So, hey, Frank. I'm all done, but good to see ya. Hey, Rabbit. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and hopefully I'll be on soon to finish this look back on all the cases that I've covered on Cold Truth since its inception. We've got quite a lot more to get to. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.